Yo, the name is Alpern, and if you missed it, we got some news a few days ago regarding patch 1.4, as well as the CoH3 expansion that is set to release in December. I think December 5th, if I can read John's handwriting. Now, the patch itself contains a variety of new stuff, such as a lot of requested quality of life improvements, adjusting graphics, animations, responsiveness, and various UI elements, such as the menus and the tactical map. But there is also two new maps, one for 1v1 and one for 2v2, as well as an integrated replay system, so that you can watch your own or your friends' matches. A note here, however, this does not include a live observer mode, so you will not be able to watch matches as they happen live. The expansion itself, if you were to call it that, consists of two new battle groups for multiplayer and skirmish for the US forces and Wehrmacht respectively, as well as a British company that is available in the Italian campaign. The expansion is included for free if you're an owner of the CoH3 Premium Edition. However, if you only have the launch edition, it has to be purchased separately, listed at about $17 US. If you're only interested in the multiplayer battle groups, however, you will be able to purchase them on release day individually via the in-game store using the obtainable merit currency, priced at 10,000 merit each. Now for a quick overview of the battle groups, the US Forces battle group, titled US Advanced Infantry, comes with 3 new units: the Rangers, the Artillery Observers, and the 105mm Howitzer. The Rangers are a 6-man elite heavy infantry squad, which you can either upgrade your existing riflemen to or individually recruit from your barracks. Their main niche, apart from being super strong infantry, is that they can equip up to 6 weapons ranging from flamethrowers to bazookas to bars and LMGs by dropping these weapons into the battlefield. Seemingly, a lot of the abilities following the Rangers in the left tree are in various ways infantry focused, though we don't have that much details on them yet. The right tree consists of the Artillery Observers, which you upgrade your scouts into, similar to the Pathfinders of the Airborne battle group. The Artillery Observers can construct artillery radio beacons that are hidden structures and that can be used to call in artillery off maps that's within their range. There's also the 105mm M1 howitzer, which is a static artillery piece similar to what some of the other factions has access to. The Wehrmacht battle group, titled Italian Coastal Defense, includes the Coastal Reserves Infantry, which will be an alternative infantry unit to your Grenadiers. These are, similar to Grenadiers, highly defensive in nature, in that they can construct defensive structures and obtain defensive bonuses while in cover. Following the Coastal Reserves, you get the Artillery Officer, which comes equipped with a lot of abilities, such as off-map artillery and smoke barrages, as well as supervised production and inspire abilities. But we do lack concrete information of what bonuses these will give. This battle group also includes a static artillery piece, the Obese, which is supposedly the heaviest armament so far in the game. It also has synergy with bunkers, since if bunkers are within proximity of the artillery piece, it fires additional shells. Speaking of bunkers, the left tree of this battle group is all about them. The support bunkers add 2 new types, the command bunker and the anti-tank bunker, which is some form of support bunker as well as an AT gun bunker respectively. We don't know much about the specifics of the remaining abilities, though the icons do hint at some of their abilities. And that's it. No battle groups for the British, nor any for DAC. I do think that while a lot of the quality of life changes are great and improves the game by a large margin, as people who has kept playing since launch are starving for new content, and this expansion is extremely narrow in its scope. Only adding 2 battle groups while a lot of people are expecting more is not very exciting, and for the single player enjoyers there isn't even a new campaign to play, but merely a new company for the Italian campaign. For people who don't play USF or Wehrmacht, but only DAC and Brits in multiplayer, there is literally nothing new for them in this expansion pack. As for the depth of the battle groups, I must say I'm not very fond of the themes, nor the additions presented here. Adding a infantry battle group for the US forces, who already have the most extensive options of infantry out of all the factions, and with extra infantry specializations as within these support centers, is just extremely puzzling to me. It seems to me that there is a lot of overlap there, not necessarily adding anything new to the faction, except for the artillery portion of the tree, which admittedly USF desperately needs. However, the Wehrmacht battle group is even more egregious here, as the coastal reserves, being Osttruppen-like in terms of fighting capabilities, overlap massively with the already existing grenadiers, with similar roles and utility. Only difference that I can tell is really that Grenadiers gets merge and Coastal Reserves can make the bunkers, and that's not an exciting difference. Wehrmacht is also already the faction with the most options for defensive structures. Was it really in such a hurry to get expanded options there? UKF, for instance, can't make any defensive bunkers of any kind. Couldn't they have received such a battle group instead? Or what about DAC that lacks the cheap and poor combat infantry units that coastal reserves most likely are? Another massive issue with this expansion pack is truly the pricing. At 10,000 merit per battle group, grinding for these will take a massive amount of time, and I did actually go about asking some of my friends that I knew had been playing consistently since launch of how much merit they had acquired since then. With hundreds of hours playing purely multiplayer, the main mode eligible to earn merit, they would still not be able to afford a single one of the two new battle groups, sometimes barely making half of what is required to purchase a single one. I know challenges are getting an update this patch, making them somewhat easier to finish, but I wonder if it truly will be enough to make this grind not be worse than it ever was for commanders in Company Heroes 2. And this leaves only really one realistic option, acquiring the expansion for $17 US, which honestly is a terrible value for money. Now, I do love this franchise and I wouldn't even flinch at paying that much for this expansion, but for the general consumer, you don't have to look far to put this value into context. For a stark contrast, however, look no further than to the most recent expansion for Age of Empires 4, which is also developed by Relic. That expansion contains no less than 2 completely new factions, as well as 4 variants of previous factions, where that variant content is comparable to a battle group. The very same update for Age of Empires 4 also contains 10 maps to be used across all modes. Meanwhile, in patch 1.4, we're getting 1 map only to be used in 1s and 1 map only to be used in 2s. And the outrageous part is that the Age of Empires 4 expansion is priced at $15 US, which is $2 cheaper than the CoH3 expansion. In my personal opinion, I worry this patch, while still nice, is simply too little, too late, and that new content is taking too long time, with prices that don't really incentivize any hope. Let's pray I'm wrong, and as per always, thank you for watching.